Hello, Carrie. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
I am doing well. Well, better now after I had to reboot my computer, go to my plan B with audio, which is, my kind of nerdy techie headset, so that we can hear each other. So I'm good now.
That's good. It's always good to have a plan B when you have technology.
Very true. And that statement is so true across multiple businesses and guess what? In personal lives too.
For sure.
Yeah, yeah. Audience members, social media, friends, um, connections, business partners, and who knows, maybe some of those clients of ours who are watching us, whether it be for the second time or the first time. So if you are watching us again in the second episode, you might recall in the previous episode 4 weeks ago, Carrie introduced herself to talk about her business called Amplified Transactions. And we also learned from Carrie as to what is her why. Why did she start this business? And of course, how do her clients and mutual business partners benefit from what she brings to the table? So, Carrie, today, for maybe those people who are watching us for the first time, maybe they missed us with a previous episode, why don't you start off just to give a high level of what is amplified transactions? What is the problem that you solve so that we can kind of set the table?
Absolutely. My name is Carrie Jonigas. I'm the owner of Amplify Transaction Services, and we provide transaction coordination to agents to help them get more time so they can be out there doing those income producing activities. We can help with listing coordination, transaction coordination. We also help with some marketing and also VA services.
Wow, wow. So when I hear that, this is what I take away because I'm a part of that business, right?
Yes.
We've shared this with each other, and I think you would nod your head and agree. The business of real estate is a team sport,
For sure.
and because it's a team sport, there's so many people involved behind the curtains in moving the process forward so that clients, sellers, and buyers get to the outcome that they want without really feeling a lot of that stress. Would you agree?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. And so when I hear and get reminded from you as to why you started your business, Amplified Transactions, and the value that you bring to real estate brokers, someone like yourself, our partners and clients, I take this one thing away from it, and that is a process is about the same, but it's that experience that you are actually, driving into.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
It's great because like you said, it is a basically it's a team sport, right? And we're working together. I had a situation come up today where a document, it was a lender required document that we needed to have signed, and
Right.
the other side of the transaction had the client sign in the wrong spot. So I'm reviewing those documents, and once I got that document, I noticed they signed in the wrong spot. So instead of wasting the lender's time, I'm now able to go back and say, hey, we need this corrected. So then I can get it to the lender, and the lender has the appropriate stuff. So I'm also helping the lender and not necessarily just the agent on the team. I'm helping the lender as well, being able to get that correct document. So I don't send it to the lender, or the agent doesn't send it and the lender has to say, hey, you signed in the wrong spot. Can you correct this? I'm able to assist with that, which then is saving also the lender some time because they don't have to
Bingo.
go back and say, hey, so
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
It's a team sport, and we're saving a lot of the team some time because we're kind of, that sounding piece for all the parties.
True. True. And because I'm assuming both you and I probably watched or as much of it watched a big game this past Sunday,
Yes.
using the metaphor of the business of football, which is a team sport. A wide receiver, a tight end, they're great at what they do, which is catching the ball, right? Moving the ball down the field. But just like you described, sometimes they have to not just do that, they have to block and tackle someone so that someone else can run the ball.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So
Yes.
very well said. Very well said. So for our conversation today in this episode of doing more real estate with less time, I want to go just a little bit deeper with you, Carrie, to ask you some questions that I'm sure you can answer, because I think it's important for your clients, my business partners, real estate brokers. What should they expect as part of engaging in this relationship? So, my first question is, in your opinion, describe the best broker transaction coordinator relationship, so that it works well, it's efficient, and the process is moving forward.
Yeah. So our most successful relationships between the agent and TC are those that the communication is wide open and the agent isn't just to kind of out there and just leaving the TC to kind of just roll with everything. Like they know what's going on. They're not necessarily doing anything, but they actually know what's happening in the transaction. That makes a huge, huge, huge difference in how the transaction moves forward. And then also that relationship with the agent and TC, because there are times where some licensed things may come up in the transaction where the agent and the TC need to communicate, and having that great rapport is super, super important so we can have an effective relationship. And those are really what drives an effective relationship, effective transactions.
Yeah, yeah. And because with your business, you're servicing multiple clients. So multiple, either individual real estate brokers or in many teams of real estate brokers. Can you speak to this question? Do a little bit of matchmaking in terms of like personality, skill set with each client?
Yeah, so we definitely, when I have a conversation with the agents, I'm definitely looking for those key elements of things, such as their communication style. Does the agent like to be on the phone, or do they prefer to text? Do they prefer to email? If I have a TC who loves getting on the phone and talking to their agent, but the agent cannot stand when someone calls them,
Sure.
that doesn't make for a very good relationship. And so those are the things, those communication styles are really important, again, because that communication is truly, I mean, I'm sure, as you know, in what you do also, that communication, if you don't have good communication, one person that doesn't have good communication can really suck the life out of what we're doing. It makes it very difficult to do what we do when we're not getting a response, or if their communication is very difficult. And so being able to pair that communication style is truly very important.
Yeah, it's almost like back to the big game metaphor. It's almost like Kelsey being able to read the mind of Mahomes as to where he's going to move and when he's going to throw that ball. And even if it's very low to the ground, Kelsey can kind of guess, hey, I need to kind of dip low and pick it up.
Right, exactly. Yes.
All right, all right. Um, let's role play this out. Let's imagine this for a moment, if you will. I'm a real estate broker. I have a team of other brokers, and together we're doing, good things. But we want to do more great things. So my question to you in this role play, as if I'm your potential client, is how quickly can you onboard me with your resources to start this relationship?
We can actually get started pretty quickly. It depends on the agent and how quickly they can get through our onboarding process. So
Okay.
there's some to-dos that the agent needs to do. Number one, they have to sign an agreement. It basically just gives the information about the pricing, basically states if they are asking us to say they send an email and say, we want you to work on this file. We begin working on it. We expect payment when the transaction closes.
Right.
Yeah. So just having that agreement, we need that signed. And then we have them complete an onboarding form. It gives us access to their usernames and passwords for any systems that they may be using that we may need to access. A lot of times they like us to use their document signature program to send out anything that needs to be signed. That way it keeps everything in their systems. We do have our own systems if the agent doesn't want us to use their system, but that would be something, having those passwords, making sure that we have those passwords and that we have access. A lot of times we get those passwords and the passwords are username and password is incorrect. If we don't have that accurate information and we get a new transaction, it makes it very difficult for us to get started. It kind of makes us look like we're fumbling on our ball. Taking that back to, that's a fumble in our eyes. We want to make them look outstanding. And the way that we can do that is if we are set up for success. And that is having our ducks in a row and having everything aligned properly. That way, when we get a new file, we are ready to go. We do also have an onboarding call with the agent. It's about an hour-long call. We do it via Zoom and we share our screen. They can actually see our checklist inside of our system. We go line by line, every single task. Every agent, even though we're doing the same tasks, they might have different ways that they like to do things. Some agents want us to put things on their calendar. Some agents don't want us to. Some agents want us to schedule inspections. Some don't want us to. So getting to know what they want us to do and what they don't want us to do, if they have specific things that they want us to put in their email templates, to sending emails out to their clients. So that is an hour-long call. We can usually get them set up within an hour if they can get us that information, and we can check those usernames and passwords. But we usually say give it at least one business day. That way it gives them time to get all of the paperwork in order, and then for us to schedule a call and then go through all of those checklist items.
Perfect. That sounds like the right answer, because in most geographic markets, the sell and purchase of real estate property, sometimes it happens within a day, even when there are multiple offers, right? People have to make a decision to go forward. So it's great to hear that you can get the relationship started in this role play as quickly as you do. Question for you: do you find, and have you encountered this situation where when you engage your team of resources with a real estate broker, back to our role play, let's say I, along with my small crew of 6 people, we're not that good with certain technology things. Maybe we kind of suck at it. Have you encountered the situation where when we start our relationship together, as we go forward and work through a transaction and then several, I, as your client, then reach back out to you and say, hey, Carrie, oh my gosh, you and your team taught me something new. You probably hear some of that sometimes, right?
Oh, yes, definitely. We have several clients that are not very tech savvy at all. They are very challenged, and they like being out with people, and technology is just not their thing, and that's totally fine. And yeah, we have helped several of our clients with certain things, or I had an agent reach out to me last night asking me for assistance on how to use DocuSign. So he was having some difficulty. And so that's totally fine. That's what we're here to help with.
Yeah. That's why you develop this type of relationship where you outsource a certain function that you don't want to spend time to learn, and maybe you're not very good at. Might as well get the experts on the field. That's the way I look at it.
Definitely. And they likely don't enjoy doing that either. So
exactly.
Why spend time doing things you don't enjoy?
Exactly. It's kind of like when I was young, like most young guys, right? A great way to earn some spending money was mow yards and stuff, right? Fast forward to now, ask me this question. Do I mow my own yard? No, because I was so tired of that when I was younger. So guess what I do? You outsource that, right? So
Absolutely. Yep.
Now, next question. What should a real estate broker expect as far as their dollar investment in a relationship like this? Is it on a per transaction basis, or do you provide your offering based on like, hey, if we do X amount of transactions like volume, here's your dollar investment? Can you speak to that?
Yes. So we do, it is per transaction. Unless you're doing VA services, we do have some VA services and even some marketing services. We had one of our girls just did helped out with a client appreciation party and did marketing for it and did,
Oh, wow.
it was a very big process and things like that. That's actually, we do it as an hourly rate, and it just depends on what you're looking for. But our basic transaction coordination, listing coordination, those are a per transaction rate. The listing services, it depends on what level of service that they're looking for. We have different packages for them to choose from. It ranges anywhere from $125 to $299. And then our transaction coordination is $350 for a single transaction, or $450 if they are working with both the buyer and the seller as a dual agent.
Right. And I'm sure you get this question. Sometimes it's the unspoken question, but you probably know it's coming from some of your potential clients, and they're mulling through the idea of like, okay, I don't want to do that stuff that I know you can do. And in their mind, they're trying to justify the dollar investment to benefit from this relationship with you. Here is my answer to that, just to help you out. Back to our role play. If my time is worth incrementally more than what it costs for me to outsource that to you, that's how I would justify it. Do you agree?
Yes, yeah. Definitely. And to me, it always goes back to, none of my agents I know that we work with, they don't enjoy any of the things that we're doing. They don't enjoy it. And so, when I'm reaching out to a client and asking them to sign something, and then they don't know how to use DocuSign, and I have to spend 2 hours with them to get them to help them to learn, to be able to sign this document, the agent is going to get extremely frustrated because they're trying to show homes, and
Bingo.
The client, whether they're trying to be nice or not, it's going to portray onto the client. And so again, this goes back to the name of our company. We're trying to amplify the transactions, right? We're trying to make sure that those that are doing the jobs that they're doing love what they're doing. I mean, I pinch myself when I wake up every day. I can't believe I'm doing this because this is something that I truly love doing. And that's what we want their clients to feel. We want their clients to feel like, wow, she's really here to support us. And we feel loved. We feel, we want the client to feel that.
Yeah.
And they may not get that same feeling if the agent is out trying to run from house to house, showing all of these properties, writing contracts, doing all of these extra things.
Yeah.
When they have to help them try to figure out how to sign something in DocuSign, so like, or, hey, you missed a bunch of spots on that disclosure. I've sent it to you 7 times.
Right.
It to you again.
Right. Yeah. I'm a big believer in, if you enjoy what you do and you're damn good at it, it will show, and people will feel it. People will know. People will then look at you and say, hey, you're the expert. Why am I doing this? Rely on you.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. As we wrap up today's episode, one last question. Is there an example, Carrie, you can share as to how, maybe among all of your clients, one simple example as to how your services, the value of your services, has helped one specific client achieve an outcome that they thought they couldn't? Maybe an increase in volume, more listings, more buyers. Can you speak to that?
Yes, we have seen several of our clients double their transaction volume year over year from working with us that they were not getting to before we were working with them. Not only that, sometimes we have clients that come on and it depends on what their goals are, right? So some of our clients, not necessarily to increase their transaction amount. They might be happy at where they're at, but they want to get more time with their family. They're missing kids events. They're missing family dinners, things like that we're able to give them that time back. And so that time is very valuable to them as well. And so we have countless stories like that.
Yeah. And with that, audience members, those of you watching this, when you come upon it in your social media feed, that's why it's important to look for solutions to do more real estate with less time. And just like Carrie said, is it always toward driving a bigger bottom line? For some, yes, it is. But I'm sure there are others where it's incrementally driving an increase in the bottom line, but it's also getting some time back to enjoy the other things that you want to do that's maybe not real estate related.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I just can't even tell you how many times agents that I'm working with come to me and tell me that, I just can't thank you enough. It was so nice. I walked out of an appointment and all of these emails that came through, you've already responded to all of them and everything is handled and I have nothing to do. It was just like, otherwise I would have been stressing out that now I finished with this appointment. Now I got to see what I need to do here before, and now I can just go on to my next appointment and I feel confident everything is being taken care of. And so that right there is huge.
Yeah. Yeah. And the outcome that is, priceless is when that client gives the real estate broker, your client, not just a great testimonial recommendation, but they share it with many others that become new clients for that real estate broker.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. All right. So as we wrap up, a little tease, I'm going to drop this here, impromptu, a little tease for potentially some upcoming episodes where Carrie and I will go a little bit deeper even, and it might just touch on how automation can affect our business. Okay? All right. So for those of you watching us today, thank you for sharing your time with Carrie and myself. Carrie, thank you for sharing your time with me. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.
Thank you. See you next time.